Alright, welcome back to another market review. So, we'll be going over the thoughts on the market today. I personally didn't take any trade setups today, but I'll be going over my reasoning why. So, I'm going to head over to the journal because I annotated all of this before the market opened. So, when we're looking at the news release for this week, we had news at 8:30 in the morning, so I'd be looking for setups starting from 8:30 in the morning after that news passed. But one thing to keep in mind is that it is the day before NFP, so it isn't uncommon to see choppier price action. So that is something to keep in mind, that don't want to be forcing too much because it may not be the highest probability conditions before this big news release. So, going over to the daily. Alright, so we disrespected that fair value gap that I was referencing yesterday, and we inverted it, and now we are trading into this kind of volume imbalance here on the daily chart. So this is kind of like where I'd like to see some bearish moves, or bearish retracements. I am still kind of more overall bearish because of this current structure on the daily chart. Also because we have that previous yearly high SMT and previous quarter high SMT also in play. So there's that. We also still have this previous week high SMT intact, although we don't have a change in state and delivery on all three assets like we did on Monday, which is, this is less higher probability, but still previous week high SMT nonetheless. And then going into the session, this rectangle is that daily volume imbalance, so we're inside of it, and we did get a previous day high SMT at the start of the session. YM drove higher and took out previous day high, while NQ and ES did not. So we're starting to have kind of like I started to see a framework to look for short-term sells. And where would I be taking these sells until? Well, ideally, like this fair value gap or the 90-minute chart would be kind of like a target. Of course, I'd see how it reacts underneath all these lows, but that would be a target, is this fair value gap here. Let me see if I can show it on the 90-minute chart here. It'd be this. So that was what I'd be targeting. So we had that previous week high SMT, previous daily high SMT. We also had a previous session high SMT right here. YM and NQ closed above previous session high, but ES failed too, so that is also a 50-minute SMT. No entry on the 15-minute because the change in state delivery entry was right around here at like 7:30 on the 7:30 candle, and that wasn't during my trading window. So I'd be waiting for a 5-minute SMT to get in. And then we didn't really get a 5-minute SMT. This is all we got. We did get a 5-minute SMT, but we didn't have that change in state of delivery that I usually look for in a trade. Normally this change in state of delivery is this candle here at 9:25, but 9:30, because the reason why it's the 9:25 candle is because it engulfed that last bullish candle, but at 9:30 we just continued to push lower. So the reason why I have this marked out is that I think that moving forward, I'm going to be a little bit more open on taking trades that are kind of not engulfing candles, but are these kind of like displacement candles in my direction. Because as long as I have the narrative and SMTs, I think that is a fair entry. So I didn't take this trade, but either way, this trade would have been a break even, because it pushed and it took out these lows. This is right around where I'd bring it to break even, and that final target would have been that fair value gap on the 90-minute chart, and then price just reversed from here. So yeah, and now looking at price, And then the reason why I kind of stopped trading for the day is that all assets took out previous daily high, and also all assets invalidated that previous session high. ES managed to close above it, so we don't have a previous session high SMT. So overall, the SMTs kind of got invalidated that I wanted to see, and I just thought it best to stay out and wait until the news release tomorrow to kind of have a bit more direction. But yeah, overall looking at this day, it's been a bit choppy, to be honest. Not much has happened. I mean, we got that move down, but then straight away move up, and we've just been, chopping sideways. So quite, as I mentioned before, we could see choppier price action because of it being the day before NFP, and that's kind of what we got. So yeah, that's my outlook on the day. Things to get better on. I think I might start being open to taking these kind of trades moving forward. So yeah, but that's about the only insight I have on today. And so I'll come back tomorrow and see what's up after the NFP news release. Alright, see you tomorrow.